into the Memorial Day weekend, and a lot of people will be meeting up with family and friends for some time together and, of course, eat together. This morning, Ansley is in Houghton learning some grilling tips. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. We are having a very early morning cookout. That is for sure. Later in the morning, I'm going to be joined by two members of Upper Michigan's chapter of the American Culinary Federation, and they are teaching us how to grill the most perfect brats. Now, it seems simple enough, sounds simple enough, but trust me, there's a lot to it that you may not expect. So stay with us. We'll have more details later in the hour. Reporting live in Houghton, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
I'm going to be paying close attention to that. Thank you very much, Ansley. My grilling skills leave a lot to be desired sometimes. 12 after the hour, so grilling's simple, right? Well, for those who need a little bit more help on perfecting their grilling skills, like me, Ansley Watson is in Houghton speaking with members of the American Culinary Federation to help us out. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. Can I just say though, we're watching out for the seagulls. They're looking out for these brats. I know that. They got their eyes on us. This morning I'm joined by Chris Sturzel and Eric Conovan. You both are certified executive chefs. Good morning, guys. Thanks for being with me.
Good morning. Good morning.
So we are learning how to grill the most perfect and juicy brats for Memorial Day weekend here. Starting out here, Chris, we have some brats here. What kind do you suggest when you grill?
Well, when you're looking for a good brat, look for something that is a raw brat if you're going to start with raw. And it might say Sheboygan seasoning on it. And Sheboygan, of course, is the capital of the world for bratwurst in Wisconsin and Upper Michigan. So you might well want to look for a Sheboygan brat if you want to really start out.
I found it interesting. You said you prefer the raw brat rather than the fully cooked brat to grill?
Well, the fully cooked are great. They come in different flavors, but a fully cooked, if you're going to put it on the grill, all you're going to do is just warm it up, maybe put a little brown on it, but it's fully cooked. I mean, you can eat them right out of the package. But if you want a true flavor of a bratwurst, you want to start with a raw brat.
Okay, now Eric, you're the grill master over here. First of all, the heat on the grill is very important.
The heat, I would say first, would be first and foremost would be the fuel, the type of fuel. I tend to lean towards charcoal. You can build a fire as we see here, and we could have I call this like a 3 heat zone. We can have really high heat on top of the charcoal if you're going to cook a steak. That's where I would sear it. Bratwurst, however, the main thing you want to look out for, Ainsley, is low and slow. So I'm moving my brats away from the hot part of the heat just to keep a nice brown on them. And the reason for that is because the high heat will penetrate the casing. That way you lose all your juice and all your seasonings. That way all your flavor is gone. So I think the key here is low and slow.
What about those with a gas grill?
With a gas grill, I would say just to keep it on low.
Okay.
But even in Sheboygan, they say that you gotta go charcoal.
Gotta go. That's the way to do it.
Go charcoal.
Well, I found it interesting as well. Whenever we looked at these, some of them you said were breached. That means they had a hole in them or whatnot.
Cooked them too long, or they were here too long, and that the heat is the biggest enemy, I would say. And mishandling. Never handle them with a fork. Always use your fingers or tongs.
Okay.
Very carefully, yes.
And then, Chris, you've been working on a mixture over here. What is this? What is this for?
We've got some beer and onions that we're just keeping them warm, and these are the brats that have been finished and cooked, and we're just keeping them warm in here. You never want to boil your brats in beer and onions or boil them at all. Don't ever boil them because they'll lose all their juice, and then they shrink up to a little breakfast sausage. So we're just keeping them warm in the beer and onions that we've got here, and they pick up the flavor in about 10 minutes.
Later in the hour, we are going to be making 6 different kinds of brats. I think that's the best type, is whenever you can have all the different toppings on top. So we got a layout here, but when we come back, we will finish them up, guys. Sound good?
All right.
All right, stay with us. Reporting live in Houghton, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
Thanks, Ansley. Well, I know the seagulls here at the station are ready to give those a try.
Yes. Mentally counting. I think there's 6 of us here, and 6 brats. This is perfect.
Perfect.
Members of Upper Michigan's chapter of the American Culinary Federation are showing us some easy skills to use when grilling outside. Ansley joins us again from down by the canal in Houghton with more. Good morning again, Ansley.
Good morning, Andrew. Before we begin, though, check out our little friends over there. They're waiting for us. They're like, once they leave, we're going to snatch some of those brats from the grill. That's right. All right, so Eric Conovan, you're joining us this morning along with Chris Sturzel. You both are certified executive chefs, showing us how to make the most perfect brat. Give us a recap on some of the tips that you would like to give people.
Well, just to reiterate, I like charcoal grill. Charcoal always, sometimes I'll mix it with some lump charcoal, but charcoal definitely over gas. And the trick is to get a 3-zone fire, and you want to keep your bratwurst away from the high heat. That way it won't puncture the casing, and that way you lose all the great seasonings and flavors that develop when the fat melts into the meat and everything else.
Now this morning we used a raw brat, and how long did you say that it takes on the grill?
Well, usually about 20 minutes.
Okay.
20 minutes if it's slow, and then you have a nice juicy brat. And then a lot of people say to boil them. Chef Chris and I vehemently disagree. We like to hold them in possibly some beer and some onions, but never boil them, always grill them.
And let's show this off. Chris, you're showing us that you do put your brats in beer and onions after you're done. Are there other mixtures that you can do as well?
Well, you can actually soak them in onions and Dr. Pepper if you want. You can put peppercorns in here, or bay leaf, or garlic. And you're just keeping it warm in here, okay? So the brats pick up a little of the flavor of the onions and beer, and you get some of these onions in here on here. But if you like Chef Eric says, if you boil them, they're going to shrink, and you're going to end up with a little breakfast sauce. So we're going to put some
show us these
onions
toppings
on here, and a little bit of brat mustard here. You can get that on here.
These look great. Do you have a favorite when it comes to brats?
There's a classic brat right there for you, right?
Oh, that looks great.
Okay. Well, we've got some others here also. We have, here's a Tex-Mex. You've got some salsa and onions and cheese. This is a Mediterranean. You've got some fresh vegetables, peppers, and black olives on here. Here's a more traditional German style with horseradish and onions, and another German style with the coarse ground mustard and sauerkraut. And then of course here we got your Wisconsin brat with cheese and chopped onions on it. But as Eric pointed out before, another thing you want to do is you want to try and find some brat buns. You don't want to put a brat in a hot dog bun. It's too small, doesn't fit, it's made for hot dogs. These are brat buns. They're kind of a cross between a Kaiser and a hot dog bun, sort of like they got married and had kids. So
analogy.
These you can find in your local bakery, the bakeries in the supermarkets. I mean, they all have brat buns around this time of year. So with Memorial Day coming up and summer, getting out there, finding the brats you like, doing them right, doing the toppings, everybody's happy.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for being with us this morning. It's been a blast, absolute blast.
If you want to check us out, we're the Uper Chefs on Facebook.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Reporting live in Houghton, Ansley Watson, and we'll be back with more of your TV6 Morning News after the break.